Hey everybody, it's Amanda, and today I am making coffee cake. I had texted Ricky earlier this week and I asked him, I was like, is there any recipe that I make that you would like to have? Because you know, of course, he lives in California. If you haven't had a Ricky update, he and his wife moved to California and they're working at a Christian camp there. And you know, maybe he misses, his wife cooks well, but maybe he still misses some of his mama's cooking, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so he said coffee cake, which kind of took me by surprise because I haven't actually made that in a while, but I used to make it quite a bit when they were younger. So I'm kind of glad that he missed that. So I'm gonna show you and Ricky my coffee cake recipe. It's very easy, and you all can enjoy it, and everybody can have a beautiful snack for Ricky's birthday. So anyway, let me show you the ingredients you'll need. All right, so the recipe for this actually comes right out of my Better Homes and Gardens cookbook, and I will link their recipe for the buttermilk coffee cake down in the description box. But it normally calls, as the recipe, you know, is named, for buttermilk. However, sometimes you can use sour milk. I don't have any of either, so what I'm going to use is some sour cream. So I have this little bit of sour cream here that it's a little less than a half cup. I'm actually going to mix that with some water to get it to the consistency that we want to take the place of milk or buttermilk in this recipe, and it should work well. So besides that, you need 2 eggs. I have my eggs way in the back over there. It's kind of hidden. Baking soda, baking powder, which I don't have the baking soda out here, but I'll grab it. But baking soda and baking powder, nutmeg, cinnamon, salt, brown sugar, a lot of butter, and I already have a 9x13 pan here that has already been buttered and is ready to go. So that being said, I have my mixer here. So here in my mixer, we're gonna go ahead and add the flour, brown sugar, and salt, and we are going to combine that. All right, so you'll notice that I'm just gonna stir this up with my fork to start. This very first part that we're going to do, I have it loaded onto the mixer, but it actually, we're making the crumbs that are gonna go on top of the coffee cake. So you don't have to mix it up too well. I'm actually gonna get my hands in here and mix it up a little better here in a moment, but this is just kind of a cursory stir to get it started. So now that you have those ingredients mixed together, we're actually gonna take our butter and we are going to cut it in. Now, I don't use a pastry cutter. You can use one if you like. Let me show you what one looks like. Here you go. Here's what a pastry cutter looks like. You've seen mine as well used. It's kind of bent up a little bit. I actually don't use it anymore. I use my hands. So this recipe calls for 2/3 cup butter. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the extra off. And we will use the butter in here. Now this is room temperature butter, by the way. It's better if it's colder, but you don't want it to be too cold because we're gonna break it up with our hands, and if it's like rock hard, it's very hard to break it up. So we're gonna get this in here. Here's our other stick of butter. And now we're gonna break it up. So you're gonna get your hands dirty here. Just, you know, accept that as a fact. But we're basically gonna be like squeezing the butter between our fingers because we wanna turn this whole flour and butter mixture into crumbs. That's the little crumblies that you see on top of any kind of coffee cake. So I'm just gonna keep breaking this up with my hands until this is a big bowl full of crumbs. And then we're gonna save some of it for topping, and the rest of it will become part of the coffee cake. All right, now you can see how it looks like crumbs. Let me get this a little closer. See, it looks like there's a mixture of little tiny sand-like crumbs and then big thick crumbs, and that's what goes on top of coffee cake. It's perfect. We're gonna save a half cup of this, and use the rest in our coffee cake. Okay, so now we are gonna add our other ingredients. Now, the only thing that you are gonna add 2 teaspoons of is baking powder. So I have my baking powder here. Woo. I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of that. There's 1, 2. And everything else is essentially a ½ teaspoon. So we have a ½ teaspoon of baking soda, a ½ teaspoon of nutmeg, a ½ teaspoon of cinnamon. All right, this is smelling amazing already, you guys. I'm not kidding you. And now again, we're just gonna stir this up loosely. Haven't actually used the mixer yet, but we will, have no fear. The time is coming. We're just getting all of our dry ingredients mixed. All right, now we want to go ahead and mix our buttermilk or sour milk concoction with our 2 eggs. So first things first, I'm gonna take this little bit of sour cream I have here, and I'm going to mix it with some water so that we actually have what's the equivalent of the sour milk. So, I mean, literally I will just stir it until it becomes a milk-like consistency. But I don't want to get it messy, so I'm going to set it on the table and do it. And look at that, perfect. It looks like a sour milk. It's going to taste like a sour milk too because it is sour cream. It spilled a little bit in the bowl there, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put our 2 eggs in here and stir those up a little bit, get them broken up, and then all of that's going to go into the dry mix. Okay, I moved it into a bigger cup because you actually need 1 1/3 cups liquid total. So I put it in a bigger one, and we are going to use this because we're going to have to add the 2 eggs as well, and it wasn't going to fit in that 1 cup measure. So I'm going to get 2 eggs, break them in here, we're going to stir them up, and then I'm going to put that in the dry mixture. Okay, so I went ahead and put my 2 eggs in there, and I stirred them up, and you can see the little bits of eggs in there. It was just kind of hard to show it on the camera. I'm a one-woman show. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in here all at once. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and use the mixer and mix this up. That looks great and it smells great. So we're gonna take this, scrape the edges, make sure it's all incorporated, and we're gonna put it in our prepared pan. Now that that's in the pan, we're gonna take our crumbs and just sprinkle them on top. Try to get it even. Okay, we're gonna put this in our oven at 350 degrees for 35 to 40 minutes or until it's cooked through. So here is our beautiful coffee cake, and you see 2 pieces are out. There's a 1 piece. I like an end piece. And over here you can see there's a little coffee in a little piece, and you'll never guess who that's for. That's for Mr. Beale. He's gonna eat that. So we're gonna have a little piece of cake for Ricky because we're awesome parents and we deserve it. All right, so that's it. That's my coffee cake recipe. I hope Ricky, you enjoy it, and I hope Alyssa, you enjoy it, and I hope all of the rest of you enjoy it. and let me know what you think if you give this a try. It's a really super easy recipe. It's not very many ingredients, very common ones, and something that we used to have actually when we were like on a really tight budget, because we almost always had these ingredients around, and it was like really filling and everybody loved it. So that's why Ricky remembers it from his childhood. So I know you can enjoy it too, no matter what budget you're on. So, all right, that is it. Thank you guys for joining us. We're gonna eat our cake, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.